Hello, I'm Lucy from Binge Free and Worthy, where I help highly sensitive and empathic women in their binge eating recoveries. And today we are doing one of our Q&A videos, and I've got an excellent question from Sarah who asks, I know the things I need to do to stop binge eating, and sometimes I can do them and I feel really good about that, but I just can't seem to do them most of the time. I want to know how I can get around this because it's really frustrating me. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you, Sarah, and thank you for your great question. I feel like you've hit the nail on the head with that word frustration there. I feel like this is one of the biggest frustrations we come up against in binge eating recovery and just like in life in general. Like, why can't I just do this thing that I know I need to do, that I know is going to be so supportive? So you've not mentioned any of the things that you know you need to do, so I'm just gonna have to assume in this video that they're like steps that you can take when you are experiencing an urge to binge, that you don't go down that path and binge, or steps you can take after a binge to help you get out of that cycle. But if you are talking about something else completely, then feel free to follow up with another question and I will happily look at that. So there are a couple of things that I want to talk about in this video. And the first is that if your nervous system is dysregulated, if you're in that sympathetic response, that fight, flight, freeze, it is going to be really hard for you to take any kind of positive action or to do anything from what you usually do, because your body is just simply doing what it can to try and keep you safe. It doesn't have the capacity to take these other action steps. All it is doing is keeping you safe, and perhaps your binge eating is a way that your body is trying to keep you safe. So this is all like very much linked together. If you notice that you experience binge urges, for example, when you have been on a strict diet, you're trying to lose weight, or maybe you're trying to make up for past binges and you are eating less than what your body needs, your body might not be feeling safe and it is urging you to eat more food so that it can simply get the energy that it needs to survive. Maybe if you are feeling lots of uncomfortable emotions, you're going through a particularly stressful or overwhelming time, maybe your body is driving you to binge because it gets that moment of escapism when you're kind of wrapped up in that binge, and that is a way that it is keeping you safe. And if you're a highly sensitive or empathic woman, it's likely that you will feel or experience more dysregulation in your system than the average person. And this is, I totally get it. It's a really hard place to be in, to make change from, because you're kind of doubly fighting against your nervous system. One, it just wants to keep you safe. And two, the patterns that you're trying to change are what your body are using to try and keep you safe. So really, to help you to do the things that you know will be supportive of you, you've got to really work with your nervous system and help yourself to feel safe. And if you take any little thing from this video, let it be the question, asking yourself, what do I need to feel safe right now? And letting this be a really core practice in your everyday. Checking in with yourself, what do I need to feel safe? And there are lots of different ways that you can work with your nervous system to bring you out of that sympathetic fight, flight, freeze and into the parasympathetic rest and digest, where you will be better equipped and have more capacity to make these changes. So you can do things like being outside in nature, yoga practice, meditation practice, Tai Chi, cuddling with your partner, playing with your pets. There are loads and loads of different ways to regulate your nervous system. Maybe doing things like working to support your vagus nerve, like salamander exercises. You've got to really find the things that you enjoy so that you're more likely to do them, and the things that really like feel supportive to you. Now, I know these kind of practices might just fall under the umbrella of things that I know will support me, but I just can't seem to do them. So there are a couple of little things that I'll share with you that will hopefully make it easier for you to actually do these supportive practices. The first one is letting go of perfectionism. Perfectionism shows up all the time in binge eating recovery. I think those of us who find themselves in these patterns of binge eating and body insecurities, we have these tendencies to drive towards perfection. So letting go of perfection in these supportive practices will help you to like actually just do them. If you are someone who feels like a yoga practice, for example, is only worth doing if you do an hour practice and your space is all clean and tidy and everything is just so, you're going to be doing yourself a disservice, because if things aren't just so, and if you don't have an hour for your yoga practice, you're not going to do it. It is much better to do 10 minutes on your mat in your pajamas with like a pile of laundry next to you than it is to do nothing at all. So one, let go of perfection. And the second one is to have what I call a bridge activity. So a small thing that is going to be very simple for you to do that helps you come back into your body, that starts to regulate your nervous system so that you can then more easily go on and do the yoga practice or go out for the walk or whatever it is. So to give you an example, my main bridge is just sitting for 5 or 10 minutes and looking out the window. So if I come back from work and I've had a really busy day, if I just come home, I'll continue in that kind of rushy energy and I'll just make dinner and I will eat it quite quickly and not particularly mindfully. I won't get so much pleasure from it. And then I'll be seeking those kind of numbing activities like watching something on telly, and I'll just kind of continue this energy throughout my evening. Whereas if I come home again from a busy day and just make myself sit down for 5 or 10 minutes and just look out the window, just watch the birds or whatever is going on, I then feel this like, I feel myself starting to come into that parasympathetic response. And then I can make my dinner in this much more relaxed and enjoyable way. And then I can eat my food in a really, from a really mindful place. And then maybe I feel like I have the capacity and I want to like more deeply connect with myself, and I will have that yoga practice or I'll go for that walk. It just completely changes the trajectory of the rest of my evening. So find that little bridge for you. It might be sitting down with a cup of tea. Maybe it's going for a little walk, like whatever it is for you that's going to be very simple, that there isn't that friction where you're like, oh, I don't want to do this thing. So that is the whole nervous system side that I really invite you to take a look at and really work with this deep sense of safety within your body. Now, the other thing I want to talk about to help you with your question, Sarah, is awareness. Now, when we're in that place of not doing the thing that we know will be supportive, we're usually not being that aware or conscious in the moment. And so I really invite you to start bringing more awareness to those times. So you're not going to be trying to change the thing that you're doing. Instead, you're changing the awareness in which you are doing it. And it's really interesting to see how just this little shift can really change things. So, for example, going into a binge, instead of like fighting against it and kind of feeling like, oh, I should be doing these other things, but I don't want to do them because I just want to have this binge, which is a very like real experience lots of us have. Like, we don't want to do the thing in that moment. We are being really driven to binge. So, recognizing that and bringing more of your awareness to that moment, bring awareness of how you are feeling, what you are being driven to do, what your urges are telling you, and just going with them and having that curiosity and that tenderness and openness to just be in whatever it is that you're experiencing. And maybe from that place, things will start to shift. And especially like with binge eating being such an escapism, when you bring that awareness into it and you can't escape, that's where you can start to see your patterns and you can start to see what it is that you are actually needing in that moment, what it is that you're trying to avoid. The present moment is where everything is happening and where you can make the changes. So when you really allow yourself to slow down, again, this is working with your nervous system as well, you can kind of see with more clarity what is actually going on and you can move from that place. So I hope this has been helpful for you, Sarah. Again, if you have any like more specifics that you want to add to this question, feel free. And for anyone else watching this video, if you have a question that you'd like to ask, you can head to binge-q-and-a and sign up to my email list there, and you'll get sent the Q&A form straight away. And you can ask your question anonymously, by the way, if that's helpful to know. If you're already on my email list, if you just go to one of my most recent emails, there'll be a link at the bottom where you can submit your question too. There we go. I hope this was helpful. Please ask me your questions and I will see you soon. Bye.